walk it like I talk it, yeah, I walk it. Yeah. Flowers never grow without some water.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Pastor D back with another video. Yes, sir. You see it. I'm still repping. Shout out to the Birds again for that Super Bowl victory. But hey, let's go ahead and get into the video for today. So I don't know if you were able to catch my Super Bowl Sunday vlog, but I did a topic in that vlog that when I went to look back at it, man, the win kind of was very disruptive. So I kind of wanted to just do a separate video from that, talking on the same subject. And that subject was about how God delivered me from listening to secular rap music. And my journey with that and my story about that was before I got the Jeep that I have now, I can remember my journey starting, I want to say probably about like a year before getting this Jeep that I have now. But I started on this decline of listening to rap music, and I was trying to find ways to ease myself out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things when you used to doing something, like if you are used to like rap music, if you used to like cursing, or if you used to doing certain things, a lot of people can't just stop cold turkey. A lot of people, it takes a gradual, decline for them to stop just doing something or showing up for something or whatever, right? And so anyways, I find myself on this journey. God is speaking to me and encouraging me to let go of the music, let go of the music, let go of the music. Now, at the time, I'm not really seeing a problem with it. You get what I'm saying? I'm one of those that I was like, I like the beat. And I used to use that as an excuse a lot, even though I did used to like the beats. But I was like, I like the beat or whatever like that. Or, man, this is my favorite artist or whatever the case may be, or I'll still listen or whatever. And so anyways, I found myself on this decline of listening to rap music. And the reason why is because the thing that we don't understand about music that, yeah, I get it. A lot of us, we draw to music for different reasons. It may connect to a specific moment, of our lives, where we currently are, what we're going through, feelings and emotions that we may be, trying to sort through. And certain songs may actually speak to those places. It may actually help. And so I definitely get that. I definitely understand that. But the thing that I want us to be conscious of and to pay attention to is it's not about the song so much, but it's about the spirit that's behind it, right? A lot of times we're not aware of where a person may be within themselves as they're writing or producing or putting together certain music or whatever, right? And so what we get is we feel the connection to it for many different reasons. Anytime you listen to music, don't just listen to it just to listen to it. Be conscious of where you currently are. Be conscious of what it's speaking to in you, what it's bringing out of you, right? And so, like I said, so a lot of times we're not aware of the spirit that's behind, the music. And so we'll be listening to music and not realizing, because honestly, a lot of times I didn't realize it, but we'll be not realizing that it's starting to make us think certain things or feel certain ways, or we start noticing changes about ourselves that we could be, that's not who I am, or I ain't gonna even hold you. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's certain music that I used to listen to, man. It used to make me feel like I was a thug, and I'm the furthest thing from a thug. You get what I'm saying? That used to make me feel like I was ready to go out and do something crazy, but that's the furthest from who I am. But that just goes to prove my point as to the impact that music can have on us, especially spiritually. So anyways, so God, he's encouraging me to walk away from it, to let it go because of these certain things. And, during this time, obviously I'm on my growth and my growing stages with God. And even still now, but I was growing, in God so much, and I was getting closer and closer to God. And I would notice, how those certain music or certain things that I would either watch or, still feed my spirit with, how those things would kind of keep me from progressing the way, that God was desiring for me to progress. And so I had to really lock in and start making sacrifices. And I started making sacrifices on the music, and I even tried to go as far as like finding the clean cut radio edited versions. And nowadays it's kind of hard to find a lot of music that's edited, because it's like the artists now is like they just put out, the parental advisory, version of it, the one that has the explicit lyrics and all that stuff like that, and they don't really put out the edited versions and stuff like that on the platform. So for a lot of songs, it was kind of hard, for me to find. And so I would kind of try to make exceptions. I couldn't find a clean version, so let me just still listen to you get what I'm saying? Like, let me still listen to this. And so, like I said, I had to start making those sacrifices, even down to, like I said, what I was watching. If it was things that had sex scenes in it, some of my favorite shows or movies or whatever, if it had like sex things or like lust, I was finding myself having to even get to the point of like fast forwarding past those moments. You get what I'm saying? Because of what I was personally struggling with and what I was still yet to be delivered from. You get what I'm saying? And so those things would kind of keep me stuck and stagnant and repeating certain things, or, living in certain mindsets and living in certain ways that I know, like I said again, that God was actively calling me out of. And so I started doing that. I started making these changes, making these sacrifices, and eventually, I got to a point to where I was able to just completely walk away from it and just, stop listening to it. And one of the hardest struggles about it was because for me, and like how I say, we connect so much to the music, right? And we feel like, man, that artist is telling my story. That artist is speaking to me. You get what I'm saying? And one of the hardest ones was like letting go was my boy J. Cole. Cause for me, Cole is the GOAT, man. Like Cole is like he is one of my favorite artists of all times. Out of top 5, he's number 1 on my list or whatever. But like, I would listen to a lot of his music. And the thing about Cole is not like Cole. We know Cole makes some music that could kind of be, degrading, whatever like that. But it's not like, far left like that. And so I would, even with him, I was still like, I couldn't really make the exception. Even as hard as that was, but there was one song by him. It was called Apparently. And I connected with that song so much. And when I dedicated that song to my mom, and I remember when I dedicated to her, I told her, I was like, because if he not telling our story word for word, like verbatim, like, I don't know, like, this is crazy. Because and apparently he says, when they snatched it from my mama and foreclosed her on a loan, I'm so sorry that I left you there to deal with that alone. I was up in New York City chasing pennies, getting dome. Had no clue what you was going through. How could you be so strong? And how could I be so selfish? I know I could be so selfish. Anyways, I've seen the whole song. Anyway, so that part right there, literally, I'm like, man, that's literally my journey. Because at this point of my life, when I heard that song, it took me back to when I had moved out my mom's house in 2012. I was probably like, I think 22. And when I moved out of our house and I moved to New York, and at this time she was staying in Virginia, and literally I'm in New York, living my life, chasing skirt, doing what I wanted to do, right? Fresh out the crib, you get what I'm saying? And my mom back at home in Virginia at the time, going through what she was going through. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of times, our parents, they have to be strong for us. So like that we don't necessarily know, what's going on. But one thing I appreciated in that moment is that my mom was very vulnerable. She's a very vulnerable person. So she'll tell you. But anyways, like, I'm like, man, this literally speaks to like my situation, like step for step. Like, it's like every word hits home. And that's what I mean by sometimes we can get so connected, to music because of a moment that we can relate to or whatever the case may be, but we may not be aware of all the other energies and spirits that the music is literally transferring into our lives, because again, we don't know where that artist was at. We don't know where that person was at when they was making that song, writing that song, or making that beat, or whatever the case may be. So anyways, fast forward, I get the Jeep that I have now, and I made a vow to God. I said, you know what, God? I said, in this Jeep will be no secular music, no rap, no R&B, nothing that's degrading to women, to people, cursing. None of that is not going to go on in this vehicle. And by God's grace, by God's mercy, by his strength, because I know it ain't got nothing to do with me, but all glory to God. Even to this day, I've been able to keep that vow and that promise that I made to God. And anybody that gets in my Jeep, they know that no secular music is allowed. I play Christian music. I play Christian rap. And that was, for me, that was like, it was dope that I was able to find an alternative, to what I was listening to, because I myself, I used to make music. I haven't made music in like years, but I used to rap as well. And so, I'm a big fan of rap, but to be able to find Christian music that's like, still got a good beat to it, but yet it got an uplifting story, an encouraging story, a motivating story. You get what I'm saying? And it's pointing you to like just joy in God and Jesus and peace and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? It's such a blessing. And I can remember the first time I actually came across my first Christian artist. It was like 2014. I had just moved. This was like a year after I had just moved to Georgia. And I had went through a particular situation where I end up like giving my life back to Christ, but I made a video about it. I believe it's entitled How God Saved My Life Part 3. You can find it on my page. And I'll make sure I'll put it, in this video as a tab so it can pop up. But I end up coming across in 2014 on Pandora station, Lecrae. And I'm listening. I think the first album of his I came across was Church Clothes. So I'm listening. I'm like, man, this dude is dope, bro. Like, and this is Christian rap. Like, this is crazy. It's like no cursing, just clean cut, talking about God, and just I'm like, this is actually dope. So I end up coming across him, which led me to finding other artists like Andy Mineo at that time, like Trip Lee. And I end up like coming across the whole 116 movement. And that's why how I actually got this tattoo, because it reminds me, man, of when I got into that place and I gave my life back to God. That was the first like tribe of music artists that I came across that was speaking about God, being encouraging and pushing this positive message. And they was going by unashamed and talking about 116. And I'm just like, at first I didn't know what they was talking about with 116, but then I realized Romans 116 is what they was talking about. And it basically states that I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the salvation to those that believe, first the Jews and then also the Greek. And so I actually got that tatted on me because I felt like a connection to that. You get what I'm saying? In a positive way. And so anyways, like I said, I started coming across them. And from 2014, even up until now, I've come across so many other different Christian artists that are just really dope. And that's what keeps me, I don't want to say I'm not saying like that solely keeps me from that, but because of the fact that God delivered me from it, and I don't know if you've ever been delivered from anything, but being delivered from rap, being delivered from weed, being delivered from pornography, being delivered from, certain things in my life that I used to struggle with a lot. You get what I'm saying? There's a particular feeling, you get what I'm saying, that you feel when you get to overcome those things. You get what I'm saying? By the glory of God, by the grace of God. And so like I overcame that by God's grace, and being able to listen to these, like I said, these artists or whatever like that, man, it's just like I have no desire, like the desire to even listen to hip hop or listen to certain like R&B or whatever. It's just gone. You get what I'm saying? And that's only possible through God. It just reminds me, like I said, when God delivered me from smoking, I literally I never had a desire to smoke no more once God took the desire from me. And I say that to let you know that deliverance is real. Deliverance is completely, it's a real thing. It's a true thing. All you have to do is not rely on yourself, but rely on God 1,000%. Like literally in anything you do, you must learn to rely on God, because we have to realize that we don't have the strength. We don't have the power. We don't have the willpower to fight. We don't have that within self, just self alone, to be able to sustain ourselves in moments of temptation or whatever the case may be. And so that's why I say we must rely on God. So anyways, God delivered me, you know, from listening to rap music. And I just want to encourage you that it don't matter what you're being delivered from. You could be delivered from rap music like me, R&B, lust, sex, whatever, drugs. It don't matter what it is. You can be delivered from all of those things. If you, like I said again, believe and rely on God and know that He can do it, you know, for you. And I encourage you, to actually start evaluating your life and looking, you know, over your life and looking at things and places in your life and areas where you struggle and where you may feel that you need that deliverance, and pay attention to, you know, whatever those things are, how they're making you feel, you know, how they're driving you, how they're keeping you stagnant, stuck, not progressing, not, you know, making moves or putting in the effort that you should be putting in. Pay attention to those things and allow God to literally, you know, deliver you and to break you from those places. And I promise you, if you allow Him to do it, then He'll do it. But I want to say I appreciate y'all listening to my story, allowing me, you know, to just take a few moments of your day and just speak to you about this and to encourage you on this topic, on this subject, you know, ultimately about deliverance. And don't take your journey lightly. You know, even if you mess up, if you slip up, if you kind of revert back, you know, don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself grace, give yourself mercy, and keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. It's not about how many times you fall, but it's about how many times you get back up. Always remember that. But again, God bless y'all. Thank y'all for your time. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with somebody that you feel may need this. And as always,
wisdom is for free, but yet it's overpriced. And I never seen success happen overnight.